Hey guys, Gypsy Wolf. Hope you're all doing really well. I just realized I got more than halfway through this video and I didn't press play. Having one of those mornings. Okay. I wanted to share with you, and this is an off-the-cuff video. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I wanted to share with you a bath blend that's really good for your skin and also has some magical properties that will help you. It's going to be good for your skin. It's going to help kick out the winter blues or keep them at bay or halt them, which I think is really important right now because we're getting into that time of year where we don't have nearly as much sunlight. And for me, I know I'm very susceptible to the winter blues. So I do everything I can to prevent that from happening. Okay, so let's go through this. I'm going to try and keep this as quick and easy as possible. The base ingredient that you want to use for this moisturizing bath, because my skin gets so dry this time of year. It only gets worse as it gets colder. I use rolled oats. Okay, it must be rolled oats. And you want to make sure everything that you use is organic. That's very important with this, because when you're using warm and hot water, your pores open up. And therefore, within 30 to 60 seconds, anything you put in that hot water and then put your body in will absorb it in 30 to 60 seconds. So if there are chemicals that are not good for you, it's going to get in your bloodstream, and that's just not good for you. So you're going to use a bit of that, and then I like to use equal parts of sea salt and Epsom salt. I don't know where my Epsom salt rate is right now. I'll add that in a little bit. But I felt the need to use my pink Himalayan salt this time because I really want to incorporate some self-love, because I'm definitely using this to combat those winter blues. Okay, so we've got that. Then we're going to need a little bit of honey. Honey is a humectant. Humectants not only help retain moisture, they draw it in. So that's why it's so good in skincare, hair care, you name it. It's just an all-around powerhouse. And it's so good for you internally as well. Why not always have a big batch of good honey in your home? I think you should. Alright. Then you're going to want to make sure you have a carrier oil. This time I'm using fractionated coconut oil. You don't have to use that, but that's just what I'm using today. And a little bit of vitamin E oil. But instead of fractionated coconut oil, which fractionated means it will not solidify, you can use grapeseed because that's very light. Apricot kernel, almonds, camellia seed, jojoba, argan oil, really whatever you prefer, like, have. You know, grapeseed is probably the cheapest out of all of those, so just keep in mind it goes bad kind of quickly, so if you're going to buy some, use it up. Okay, as far as our herbs go, I'm going to use a little bit of powdered and dried coconut. Coconut is so moisturizing for the skin. Oh my gosh. And it's really good for protection. So you get a little bit of both worlds with it. So I'm definitely using a bit of that. Oh, by the way, I'm using salt for obvious reasons in this. But I know it's very common to just, here, take a simple bath with salt or Florida water, whatever. But at this time of year, if you already have dry skin, that's just going to make it worse. So that's why fall and winter, I go this extra mile. The next one I'm going to use, which is one of my favorites for the skin by far, is calendula. Calendula buds, okay? These are so good for healing. They're safe enough for babies. They're a really good healer, which I love. And they also have a masculine energy. So they have the masculine energy. They are ruled by Mars. And I believe the sun. I could be wrong. So don't quote me on that. But it helps bring joy, happiness, and also in Scott Cunningham's book, his Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, it says that calendula in bath water helps gain favor and recognition from all walks of life. And you know what? I have found that works. And then to kind of pair with that, because I feel like they go really well together, is some chamomile. I don't have just regular chamomile. I have these organic chamomile tea bags, so I'm going to just use one of these. Chamomile, again, masculine energy, and it has that sunny disposition. And in bath water, again, Scott Cunningham says the chamomile used in bath water is used to attract love. But chamomile is also very good for money. So, you know, either one. Who doesn't want love or money? If you don't have either, or if you just have one or the other, use it. But I switch this up all the time. So this is like, you use whatever you don't have here, you don't have to put in. Whatever you do have, put in. You want to substitute something, fine. Just do your homework to make sure it is safe for the skin and gentle. Okay, second to last, some lavender bud. Because, number one, it's one of my favorite scents in the whole wide world. And it's just so good for your skin. It's so good. And it's calming, soothing, protective. It brings peace, harmony. So for me, I tend to take my baths and showers at night, at the end of the day. And I feel like the lavender, along with the chamomile too. So I do like using chamomile to unwind. I feel like it just helps get off all that high negative energy residue. So, great to use. And then one of my all-time favorites to use for the skin, rose petals. I mean, they're just fantastic in every way. And they're good for love, divination, psychic powers, what else? Just so many things, but I really like using it for self-love and protection. Pretty much any video you see me do where I use rose petals, you will hear me talk about how rose petals are not talked about enough for their protective qualities, and they really are very protective when paired with the other right ingredients. So we're going to be adding a bit of that. Okay, so here's how we put it together. Very, very simply. I already ground up my rolled oats, okay? And I picked a container to put them in and let them dry for 24 hours. I ground them just enough. I didn't want it too powdery. And then same with the calendula petals, like, and you can't get them too fine anyway. So I'm just gonna pour that in. Hope you guys can see. Let me move this a little closer to you. There we go. Oh, and as far as the oats, I used 9 spoons of this. So I don't like making huge batches. So I love switching things up. I'm not someone that's a creature of habit in many things. I believe variety is the spice of life. Okay, so we mix those two together. The next thing that I'm going to add is my rose petals. What I tend to do is go from the most large item that's harder to grind down to the ones that you don't really need to grind much at all. Just makes it a little easier. So I'm gonna take my little spoon. I just love this little wooden spoon. I'm gonna do 3 spoonfuls of the rose petals. It doesn't matter what color you have. Honestly, if I had pink, I'd probably use the pink. But I have red in a plethora, so take this little piece out. Doesn't belong here, it's a stem. And we don't need to grind this too much, as you can see. So as I'm grinding, I'm just thinking about how I love myself. And you can state these things out loud, which I would recommend. I love myself. I'm beautiful. I am enough. I'm smart. And then start naming out things you like about yourself at this point. You know, say, I'm well read. I'm well spoken. I'm really good with dogs. I'm really good with children. I'm very creative. I'm a good baker. I'm a good cook. Anything like that. Or I'm a good caretaker. I'm good at my job. You know, whatever comes to your mind. And you want to go in a clockwise motion because we're bringing in self-love and the protection from the rose petals as well. And then I tend to go like this, where it's more gritty at the bottom. I'm hoping this Christmas, I plan on asking for like one of those like ginormous mortar and pestles that grind anything down. Or things like this a lot more quickly. I just think that would be cool to have, even though I already have 4 mortar and pestle. My first one is super teeny tiny. Then the next year my dad got me a green marble one, which I use for darker workings, or when I'm using something that would stain the white. Then the next year my mom got me this white one. I guess she forgot that my dad got me a green one the Christmas before. And then I have a wooden one that I got for myself that is just too pretty to pass up. Okay, so nothing crazy. It's not too powdery, as you can see. I'm going to make sure that that's enough. I'm going to pour it in. Just a little bit of a stir. And I'm just thinking about how good it's going to feel to step into that bath water. Now, if you do not have a bath, and you only have a shower stall, what you can do is, now I'm going to have to add more rose, I believe. Anyway, what you can do is take old pantyhose. It's what I would personally recommend, or one of these, and you tie it at the top of your shower head when you're done washing your hair, if you're washing your hair that day, and then you let that water go through it and hit your body. I'm going to do one more, no, 2 more, so I'm going to do 5. I like doing even numbers. 4, 5. Okay. Of the roses. And then since I'm doing that, I'm going to add my lavender to save a little bit of time for the video. I'm going to do quite a bit more lavender. I just love it. Let me just do a few passes of grinding my rose petals first. I love myself. I'm smart. I'm good at my craft. I know a lot about herbs and oils. I use them well. It's my advantage in to help people. I'm good at helping people. Yes, I'm fine. Sorry, got interrupted by the people I live with. That's a little embarrassing at my age. They're calling out to me, are you okay up there? What would I be doing that would be not okay? Okay. Get that negativity out of my head. Shake it out. Telling you, I'm lucky to have family, but sometimes living with them can be difficult. Be a challenge. But it's what I need to do right now. Okay, so we're going to add that. Yes, much better. Much better. So please don't judge about the fact that this 39-year-old, which is mommy, called up to make sure she's okay. Probably hears me talking. The walls here are just so thin, and I'm all the way upstairs. I've got the whole upper level, but even that, you can hear everything. Okay. Beautiful. So, as you saw, I was kind of naming off some of the things I feel I'm good at and that bring me self-love. Okay, now we're going to add the lavender bud. And I'm going to start with 3, 1. Very heaping, as you can see. 2. And 3. There we go. Well, I suppose it's really no different than having a husband bugging you, right? Alright, so with the lavender, we're going to think about the aches and pains of the day, just washing away. Peace, harmony, comfort. I love the smell of lavender as I'm going to bed. I normally use a spray. It smells like lavender. And I spray it on my pillow and on my sheets. And I let it sit for about 20 minutes and climb in, and it just smells so good. Helps me unwind. But I know not everybody likes lavender, so if you don't like it, just don't add it. Maybe pick out something else that the scent makes you feel calm and happy. Just make sure you do your homework and it's safe for the skin. Alright, I don't need to do much grinding with this because it's small. So pretty. This is smelling so good, guys. Wow. It smells so good. Too bad we don't have smell-o-vision, right? I mean, it even looks pretty already. I'm sorry if you hear that loud noise. Sounds like our gardener is here for the day. And I left my window open. I apologize. Smells so good. Isn't that beautiful? Alright, now I'm just going to add the entire thing of chamomile. Pour that on in. And I'm going to think about just bringing you love in all its forms. It doesn't need to be... Oh, and by the way, you don't need to grind this if it's in a tea form. This is already very finely ground. You know, in all of its forms. You know, it can be love from friends, admiration from a boss, you know, or if you are looking for love from a partner, that's okay too. Okay, and the last ingredient that is an herb is the coconut. Oh, I missed one. I will give that to you in 1 minute. I'm going to do 1 heaping tablespoon here. I think that's enough. Maybe 2. Yeah. I eyeball it. With coconut, as you can see. Probably should have used a slightly bigger bowl. That's okay. I can always transfer it into a bowl, a bigger bowl, and you know, when I get off camera if I need to. Okay, and then the last dry ingredient, I'm so sorry for I to mention, is powdered milk. Now, it doesn't smell very good, okay? So you're not going to add a lot, but it's very moisturizing for the skin and very good for it. And it's a good way to keep it stored safely without it going rancid. But if you don't want to use that, what you're going to do is just use your dry ingredients, add them to your bath water, and then add regular milk, like, I don't know, a 1/4 cup to 1/3 of a cup. So I'm just going to do a little teaspoon or 2 here. 1. I'm going to do 3, actually. 2. 3. And I think one of the regular spoons would be a amount, most likely. That's alright. Just mix that together real fast. Okay. Sorry this is taking so long. It's already over 23 minutes. But I like to explain everything as I go so you understand what we're using and why. So now at this point, I am going to add my oils. I'm going to use my smaller spoon. Okay. And you don't want it to be soggy. Okay, so this just takes a little trial and error. You probably have to put in a little bit at a time. You want it to kind of almost form clumps, but not quite. And I'll show you what I mean in a second here. Just gonna stir. Think about all the good things this is gonna do for me magically. My skin. You can pretend you're Cleopatra in the bath. She used to bathe in milk and honey. So why not? Tap into that. I don't really follow Egyptian gods and goddesses, but if you do, go for it. Alright, let me add a little bit of vitamin E. I think adding a little vitamin E just helps, number one, stabilize it no matter what. And it's good for the skin no matter what. Helps heal it. It's lightweight. And I just really like adding a little bit, not a lot. You don't want to add too much. Just enough to give your skin a little bit that it needs. I mean, there really is such a science behind all of this. Like, I actually have other things I'm going to be adding, but they're actually not chemicals, but ingredients that you only see in items that you would buy at the store. But I've been making my own skincare, or making skincare products for at least 10 years now. So I have a good amount of items that can be used, because I've learned a lot about them. Okay, and just a little bit. Okay, can you see? It's a little clumpy, just a little. So I'm just going to add a little more of the oil, because we are going to let this sit for about 24 hours and let it dry down. And you can add some essential oil if you would like. I don't normally do that because I find them a little too concentrated in my very, very sensitive skin. But things like lavender, rose, maybe chamomile, I think those would be safe. Like, I know lavender has been the one and only essential oil that's been deemed safe to put on the human body, no matter what. So that one's safe. But you don't want to add too much. I use that for like homemade potpourri, which I just made a new batch of the other day. Okay. So, as you can see, it's a bit clumpy. I would add a little more, but we're adding some honey. And this one is the tricky part. It's really hard getting this ratio right. But you can always add more of the oats, whatever. I'm just going to add a little bit. And if you're having a hard time getting it out of its container, you can always pop it in the microwave, heat it up a little bit, which I probably should have done. I might have to add more of this a little later. So I don't have time to do all that on camera here. There we go. Like I said, just a little bit. This will make things sticky, and you do have to mix this very well. Alright, so I'm going to do the rest off camera so I don't keep you and bore you. But that is essentially it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. If there are things that you can't add or don't want to add and you really want to substitute and you're afraid to add something, and if you already Google things or look them up in a book and haven't gotten an answer, then come to me, alright? Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Then I will give you some answers. You know, maybe you say, hey, I heard this, I read this. What do you think? Is this safe for my skin? Would this be good for the winter blues? Would this be good for X, Y, and Z. So, you know, and so forth. But things like this also make great Christmas gifts. You can get little sachet baggies or muslin baggies like these with Christmas prints on them, and fill them up and add them like little gift baskets along with like bath salts too, or like lotion bars. I love making lotion bars, or soap if you like to make soap. You can just do soap and a little bit of this in a bag that's decorated, and people love that because you put your heart into it. Just make sure these people like taking baths. Okay. Alright, so again, any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. I am not working for other people at the moment. However, I do have a few things for sale. I'm working on a website at the moment, but I do have a few things, and if there's something in particular that you want, if I can make it, I will make it. I also will dress and charge 7-day candles or taper candles for somebody, but I can only do so many of those in a month, okay? So if you want anything like that, just contact me at magicalgypsywolf@gmail.com. Again, that's magicalgypsywolf@gmail.com. As always, guys, I hope you're doing very well. Have a great day, and I can't wait to see you yet again and hear all of your comments. Mwah. Blessed be.